Subtitle: Once upon a time, in a quiet mountain village, there lived an old woman known simply as Grandma Myra. She was not wealthy, she wasn't powerful, and she owned very little, just a wooden house by a running stream, a few chickens, and a small garden of herbs. But everyone called her the happiest person in the village. People wondered how, in a life so simple and often so difficult, she could smile every single day. Children loved to visit her because she always welcomed them with warm tea and stories, while adults often sought her advice when life felt too heavy. One bright morning, a young boy named Aaron approached her with tears in his eyes. Subtitle: Grandma Myra, I don't understand how to be happy. Everything I try fails. He explained that his parents argued often, his teacher scolded him, and his friends teased him. His voice trembled as he asked, "Why are you happy in every situation, even when bad things happen?" Grandma Myra smiled gently, pointed to her heart, and said, "Happiness isn't here," and then tapped her head. "It begins here." She invited Aaron to walk with her, and together they followed a narrow path toward the forest. As they walked, the old woman shared her life story. When she was young, she too faced hardship. She lost her parents early, worked long hours to survive, and sometimes had nothing to eat except herbs from the forest. She could have drowned in sadness, but she discovered something remarkable. She learned to accept every moment as a gift. Subtitle: Acceptance is peace. Life, she said, is like the weather. Some days are sunny, some are storms, but no storm lasts forever. Aaron listened carefully as the wind whispered through the trees. Suddenly they came across a small hut belonging to an old carpenter who was frustrated because one of his wooden wheels broke. He cursed loudly, threw the wheel aside, and stomped away. Aaron frowned at how angry he was, but Grandma Myra picked up the broken wheel, examined it, and smiled. Subtitle: Nothing in life is wasted. She took the wheel home, carved it into 2 small bowls, and gifted them to a poor mother who needed dishes to feed her children. Aaron's eyes widened. How did anger make something useful? He asked. Grandma Myra answered, the anger destroyed his peace, but acceptance created purpose. Days passed, and Aaron kept visiting her. One afternoon he returned, crying again. His friend had mocked his old clothes. Grandma Myra took him to a river. The water reflected his sad face. She dropped a small pebble in. Subtitle: See the ripple. Words from others are like stones. If you let them sink into your heart, they disturb your peace. But if you watch them calmly, the ripple fades. She told him to breathe slowly and imagine the river calming. Aaron felt relief wash over him. Another day, Aaron came angry after losing a race at school. Grandma Myra listened quietly and then handed him a heavy bucket of water. She asked him to carry it around the house 10 times before setting it down. Soon his arms burned, his shoulders ached, and he dropped the bucket. He gasped, "It hurts." Grandma Myra nodded softly. So does holding anger. The faster you put it down, the lighter you feel. Aaron began to understand. Weeks turned into months, and Aaron's heart grew stronger. One evening, a terrible storm thundered across the village. Trees bent, houses shook, and fear spread like wildfire. The river overflowed, flooding homes, and panic screamed in every corner. But Grandma Myra lit a lamp, stood outside, and held an umbrella over a trembling puppy hiding under her porch. Subtitle: Compassion brings light. After the storm passed, the villagers found her comforting families, sharing food, and helping rebuild roofs. Aaron asked, "How are you happy even in disaster?" Grandma Myra replied, "Happiness is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of purpose." Days later, tragedy struck again. Her own house was damaged. She lost many of her belongings. Yet the next morning she smiled while sweeping debris from her porch. The village elder asked, "Aren't you sad?" She chuckled lovingly. "Of course I feel sadness, but sadness is a visitor. I let it sit, have tea, and when it's done, I open the door and wave goodbye." People gathered around her curious mind like moths drawn to light. She taught them for secrets. Subtitle: Secret 1: Be grateful for what remains. She said, "Focus on what you still have, not what you lost." Subtitle: Secret 2: Help someone every day. Even the smallest kindness builds joy. Subtitle: Secret 3: Accept change. Life moves like rivers. Resisting only hurts. Subtitle: Secret 4: Choose thoughts like you choose food. Feed your mind junk, and you will feel sick. A month later, a traveling merchant arrived in the village selling colorful clothes, rich jewelry, and luxury toys. Many villagers bought things hoping to feel happier, but the excitement faded quickly. They noticed Grandma Myra, now wearing her same simple dress, smiling more brightly than all of them. They asked, "Aren't you tempted to buy something?" She answered gently, "Happiness cannot be purchased. It grows inside." Then the merchant asked her, "If your happiness is real, tell me how you remain calm when life appears unfair." She replied, "When I cannot control the event, I control my reaction. When I cannot change people, I change my expectations. When I cannot find joy, I create it." Weeks passed, and then something shocking happened. Aaron's father lost his job. Their home fell into silence. Worry filled every meal. But Aaron reacted differently now. He held his mother's hand and whispered reassuring words. He visited neighbors to ask for small jobs and brought food home. One night his mother hugged him tightly, crying with gratitude. Grandma Myra watched from afar, smiling proudly. Subtitle: Growth is Silent Strength. A year later, the village faced drought. Crops dried, wells emptied, hope cracked like the ground beneath their feet. Many people complained, cried, and blamed fate. But Grandma Myra gathered children and planted seeds near rocks where shade preserved moisture. She carried water in tiny cups to keep them alive. The seed sprouted, and soon the village found hope again. When new rain finally came, people celebrated, dancing under the skies. They thanked Grandma Myra for keeping them calm and guided. That night, Aaron asked one last question. "Grandma, after all these years, tell me the truth. Are you ever unhappy?" She smiled, her eyes reflecting moonlight. "I feel pain. I feel sadness. Sometimes I cry alone. But happiness is not a permanent smile. It is the ability to rise, forgive, breathe, and try again tomorrow." Years passed, and Aaron grew wiser, kinder, and stronger. He became known as the smiling teacher, spreading strategies of peace to children just like he once was. He built a school named Garden of Joy where students learned not just math or language, but gratitude, empathy, and emotional resilience. Grandma Myra visited often, always carrying tea and wisdom. One evening, she became very quiet. She sat under her favorite tree, watching the sunset. Aaron asked softly, "Are you all right?" She whispered, "My journey is ending soon. But listen carefully. When life tests you, smile gently, breathe, forgive, help, and continue walking." With her last breath, she said, "Teach the world to plant joy." After she passed away peacefully, the village held a ceremony. People cried, but their tears were not painful. They were grateful. They promised to live as she taught. A statue was built by the river. Its base read, Subtitle: Happiness is a choice you train every moment, today. Travelers visit the village to learn from Aaron, now a wise elder himself. He tells them about the old woman who turned broken wheels into bowls, storms into lessons, and sadness into soft tea. And at the end of every lesson, he says, "Remember, happiness doesn't arrive because life is perfect. It arrives because you decide to practice peace." So, dear viewer, if you are watching this now, take a moment to breathe deeply. Whatever pain you carry, let it rest. Whatever anger weighs on you, put it down. Whatever sadness knocks at your door, offer it tea, and let it leave when it's ready. And always remember, storms pass, wounds heal, hearts grow, and happiness is a daily seed you water with kindness. If this story touched your heart, don't let it stop here. Spread joy like Grandma Myra did. Subtitle: Like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories, motivation, and life lessons. Your support keeps this channel alive, growing, and reaching hearts across the world.